Good afternoon and welcome to another episode of Mikey Makes. We could put a little bit of music over that bit, couldn't we?
Yeah, we could. We
Right.
could. Something like Lady Gaga.
Yeah, this afternoon
Poker
I'm going to be
face.
making Stollen, and I'm going to be utilising the marzipan that I made last week.
Utilising, not using them.
Yeah, I'll use it as well. However, I'll leave that in the fridge because we don't need that for a little while. What I will do is run you through the ingredients very quickly. However, very, very pleased to be able to tell you that we've got a website now, www.mikeymakesstollen, where you'll be able to find all the recipes and the ingredients. So in here we've got 10 ounces of milk that has been warmed. We've got a couple of teaspoons of sugar, and into that we've put 4 level teaspoons of yeast, but it's not the easy yeast. This was quite difficult yeast. That's been bubbling away for a little while.
It was the frigid yeast, wasn't it?
It's very frigid. That's been bubbling away for a little while. We've got 8 ounces of softened butter. We've got a couple of ounces of glacé cherries that have been dried and chopped up a little bit.
Rinsed,
Dried and chopped up. We've got in there a couple of well-beaten large eggs. In here we're supposed to have 7 ounces in total of currants and sultanas. What we've actually got is about 4 ounces of sultanas and a load of other bits and pieces because Laura doesn't really like currants.
No, that's about a year old.
Yeah, and in there we've put another couple of ounces of dried candied mixed peel. We've also got a couple of ounces or thereabouts of chopped almonds of some description.
Apricots!
Apricots, they're the almonds, the nuts are the almonds. There's a couple of ounces of those.
I said,
chopped.
were you ready?
I am ready. We've got some caster sugar, doesn't actually matter whether it's white or golden this week. We've got a lemon because we needed the yellow bit. What's that called? The zest. We've taken the zest off. That's the zest. And we've got 22 ounces of strong white flour in a bowl with a
Bit of salt.
bit of salt and a hole in the middle.
But we're doubling up, Jonesy, because we want one, your mum wants one, and my mum and dad wants one. So
we should
that's
have
like double the...
Technically we should have trebled.
Yeah, but then that would be like the Quatermass experiment, so just go with...
So we'll make 3. Right, so what we're going to do is we've got the bowl with the flour, and into that I'm going to add, I think... In fact, no, I'll tell you what. Let's cut at that and we'll come back in a couple of minutes.
Safest, eh?
All right, yeah, safest. Okay, Laura, how was that? My executive producer there was panicking slightly because she thought that I didn't know what I was doing.
Well, you don't.
So into the flour, I've added the 2 ounces of caster sugar and mixed it up. So now there's flour, sugar and salt in there. And into that I'm going to add, I've made a little hole in the middle and I'm adding the bubbly stuff, which is the milk, the yeast and the sugar. And I'm going to mix that around. And I'm also going to add the 2 beaten eggs.
Spatulas in your pants. What have you done?
Nothing.
You'll have to delete that out, or she'll be like Jeremy Clarkson.
I haven't told anyone to go and shoot anybody. Right, so I'm adding the butter as well.
That shows that we're current.
Not really, because in a couple of years' time when someone watches it on YouTube they'll be thinking,
Yeah,
what
but
the hell are they on about?
his career will never recover. And you put the spatula in there.
Yeah.
Have to get the blue one.
So I'm mixing it all up and we'll come back when it's mixed because there's
Okay.
no point you sitting watching all this.
No, none at all. And I got a cup of tea.
Right, so it come back just in time to see this is all mixed up into a goo. And now what I've got to do is work in all of this lot. So
Sling your nuts in.
my nuts are in, my glacé cherries are in, my currants and sultanas that aren't really, they're in,
I don't think it matters.
candied peel, no, that's
Apricot.
apricots, they're in,
Lemon zest.
and the lemon zest.
Use the spatula of justice.
Hang on. That's in.
Okay.
So
Come back.
work it all into a big doughy ball, and I might want to see what it looks like. Can you see?
Yeah, that's lovely.
So we'll come back in a few minutes.
All right. There we go.
Right, so I've...
Show us your mixture.
Hang on. I've mixed it and I've evenly distributed it around. Exhibit A.
Oh, yes.
Now I'm going to dump it on the worktop that's been floured, Exhibit B. And I'm going to knead it.
I did that. Mind you, that's double bubble, Jonesy, so that's a lot more than you'd get normally. Have it. Use the spatula, Jonesy. Oh, right, fair enough. I'll shut up.
I would. Most of the comments I've had on
I know, but
my
you don't
instructional videos have been about the gobby camera woman. I'll have you know.
That's not true.
Mrs. Smallcapes says, and I quote...
Is that because her baps are tiny?
She says, and I quote... Well, actually, she did say you're right the other week.
She did say I was right. If we have a flashback to me constantly saying, Mike, that's not a food processor, it's a liquidizer.
Yeah, okay, well, so at the moment I'm outnumbered. The vote is 2-1.
Yeah.
The jury's still out on that, but anyway. What were we saying? Oh yeah, I'm going to knead this for 5 minutes.
That looks good.
Until it goes elasticy and springy. And I'm sure you don't want to sit and watch this for 5 minutes, so you lot clear off and we'll come back in a little while.
Alright, you play with your dough. Play with your dough. Play dough. Alright, see you in a minute. Go.
Right, so I've been kneading this for about 5 or 7 minutes and it is elasticy and springy. So what I'm going to do now is split it in half, only because we've doubled the quantities and I don't know how big it's going to get.
Stand back.
And then we're going to leave them for...
What's that, Jonesy?
Well, the fruit keeps escaping. I've got, as I walk around, it crunches with the nuts and fruit. So I've got 2, more or less, in half, and...
They look like a couple of pups.
So I've got a couple of tits.
That's Jonesy.
Which seems to amuse my wife. And they're going to sit there, somewhere warm, for a couple of hours.
We'll put them in the airing cupboard then.
We'll stick them in the airing cupboard, and while that's doing, we're going into town to do some shopping.
Oh, we're so organised.
And we'll come back in a few minutes.
Bye-bye.
2 hours. Bye-bye.
So what are you going to do?
Right, we're back from the shopping, and incidentally, we saw some Stollen for sale, hugely expensive and really strange shapes. So we don't really know what shape to make it. So anyway, we had them in the airing cupboard. They're no longer breast size. Well, I suppose they might be, but they're a lot bigger than they were. So now what we've got to do is turn them out onto a floured work surface and knock the air out of them.
If you can, try and get more flour on the floor.
Okay. And then when we've knocked the air out of them, what we're going to do is knead them until they're soft and elastic.
Smooth.
Smooth. They can be smooth as well at the same time. So I'm going to do this for a few minutes and then we'll come back.
Alright.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. This is just Jonesy rolling stuff out.
Yeah, what I've got is we've actually split it into 3 and the recipe says 10 by 8 so we ought to get 2 10 by 8s, but we don't really know how many we're going to get if we did 3 because we're not mathematicians. So we're just making them, rolling them out until they're more or less
rectangular
and big enough to put some marzipan in, which we've taken out of the fridge and
keep
warming
eating
up slightly, and Laura keeps eating. Right, so...
Alright, we'll cut until you've fathomed out your width.
Yeah, okay. Right, so the marzipan, got a little bit left over. We've cut off basically about 4 ounces of marzipan. My wife's laughing, she hasn't seen anything that small for a long while. So we've cut the marzipan off. We're going to place the marzipan on top of the mixture, fold it over, and then...
Yucky.
I don't know why these nuts and things keep falling out.
I think you might have to seal the ends, Jones.
Yeah. Push it down.
Push it down.
And seal the ends.
Seal the end. Are the ends sealed?
The ends are sealed.
I repeat, the ends are sealed. Pop that one on a baking tray, Jonesy.
And then we're sticking that on a baking tray. And we've got the second one.
Your ends are funny, aren't they?
No, they won't be when they're finished.
Aren't they?
No.
Hang on, I'm just going to tilt it up. Use that, oh, flipping heck. That's a bit better. My angle was all wrong. That baking sheet behind you isn't oiled.
Okay.
Just a smidgeroony. There's a tissue by the coffee machine. Other coffee machines are available. Oh, I didn't scan that very well, did I? Here we go. He's back there. Cool, they're still going to be 3 big ones, Jonesy. Press it down so you seal the thing. That was good. Squidge it. Squidge the whole thing down because it's not sealed on the bottom.
That is suitably squidged. Believe me.
That's it. That's squidged.
When it comes to squidging,
You're chief squidger.
I'm chief squidger. Right. So that's 3 of them.
You've got your back right in the front of it and all they're seeing is your arse. Trust me.
Exhibit A, 2 Stollen.
Up a bit. They're not on the floor.
Yeah?
Yes.
And Exhibit B, 1 Stollen.
More Stollen. You
So
can
now we've got to do.
stick
Now what we've
out.
got to do is let them sit for a couple of hours to double in size.
In the
again.
airing cupboard.
In the airing cupboard, and we'll come back when they're done.
All right.
See you shortly.
Okay, don't call me shorty.
Right. So we've got 3 Stollens. They're in the airing cupboard. Don't know how long they're going to take to double in size. An hour, hour and a half, something like that, I guess. Laura's in there watching America's Next Top Model. So I'm sitting here bored, actually wondering what I'm going to do next.
Are you making little marzipan then without me?
No, I'm not making marzipan.
What are you doing then? Who are you talking to?
That was childish. That was last week. Look, you're supposed to be the other side of the camera, not this side. Anyway, at one stage I was going to go right through the Great British Bake Off recipes, but actually I've decided a lot of them are too boring. So I'm going to do the croque en bouche, and then we're going to have a croque en bouche party because there's about 17 million calories in the big one, and I'm going to do one about 6 foot tall. And then we're going to invite lots of people around to help eat it, but we're thinking about doing savoury things instead of just things that are bad for you, because not everybody has a figure and a metabolism like me where I can eat whatever I want and not put any weight on.
You made me a cup of tea, didn't you?
Anyway, it would appear that I've been disturbed, so they're just the thoughts. We'll come back in a little while. God, she's a fascist. Honey, they're here. There we go.
Mike, I don't know why you do that. Why do you do that?
Why do you do that?
Why are you holding him by your groin?
That. 2 Stollen. Can you see them? Just
Yeah.
like the airing cupboard. Got a preheated oven, 190 degrees, except this is quite a hot one, so we've done it at 175. And they're going in for
35 to 40 minutes, Jonesy.
35 to 40 minutes. Not that you'll know, because we're going to cut. And
Jonesy, I'm just... Tell him what that is.
are you zooming in on my pasty?
Get out of the way. I've just got to tell the viewers. He's going to have a game of...
This is a pasty.
I don't know,
made.
call me old-fashioned, just keep it still. That is Jonesy's pasty, and he actually said...
HP sauce.
HP sauce, I can't see that. He said, I'm going to save this half of pasty while I'm playing poker. I went, what a fucking muppet.
You need calories. You need energy to play poker, and this is what's going to
I'm
give
going
me.
to save half a pasty. It's genius. Say bye-bye.
Just go away. Right, so they've been in now for about 30 odd minutes, and we're just going to have a look, see what they look like. Oh, I say, they look pretty Pretty wonderful. Do you want to come over and have a look?
Well, I'm zooming.
I can't bring them over.
No, that's right, I've got them here, yeah. Zoomed in.
Okay, so we're going to leave it a little while for them to cool down a bit and then we're going to...
Eat them.
Eat them. No, we're going to cut one open so you can see what it looks like. So we'll come back in a few minutes' time.
Alright, you're going to go and get the other one and put it in?
Yeah.
We've got 14 to do.
Alright.
Alright, see you in a moment.
Toodle pip.
Recording.
Right.
Hang on, and I'm zooming.
So it's cooled down for 3/4 of an hour.
Has it?
And we're going to cut one open.
It's been out for like 2 seconds.
Hopefully.
Get on with it then.
Just to see the marzipan. There we go. Just caught the end of the marzipan there, so I'll take a slice. Now the rest of them, obviously, we're going to put a little light icing on. How about that? Can we get in there?
Hang on, I'm coming over.
Obviously, because it's homemade marzipan, not the shop stuff, it's not...
yeah, the colour's not...
It's not really yellow. Can you zoom in on that, Jonesy?
I am zoomed in. I was zoomed in as opposed to putting the lens on it, but you can see it. Oops, it's all gone to cock.
That is hotter
Than a rattlesnake's ass in a wagon rut.
than the fires of hell. Mmm.
Yes, thank you for that.
Very
Right,
nice.
say goodbye. They don't want to see you
Goodbye.
stuffing your face.